So recently on this channel, I've been going over a lot of credit card setups that are based off of traveling only. So I do want to take a step back and go over $0 annual fee credit cards that are only cash back. The reason being is because I know a lot of people out there are not really into the travel side of things. So I do want to break this YouTube video down of what I would consider the best cashback credit cards currently. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Andy. I'm a senior programmer analyst that loves to talk about personal finances. Here in this channel, we like to talk about credit cards, budgeting, and financial tools that can possibly help you guys out. But enough of that, let's go ahead and get started with the video. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the Chase Freedom Unlimited. The Chase Freedom Unlimited is currently a 3% cashback on dining at restaurants, including takeout and eligible delivery services, 3% cashback at drugstores, 5% on traveling purchased through Chase Travel, and 1.5% cashback on all other purchases. Now, a lot of people on YouTube go over this card as a very beginner card, which I completely agree with. Now, do keep in mind that this card is only earning you 1.5% cash back on all other purchases. And in this video, we are going to be going over the credit cards that are going to be a little bit higher than this. But if you're barely starting out and you're already banking with Chase, this is a great card to hold specifically because you're going to be earning cash back regardless of what you're spending money on. And a lot of people tend to go out to eat a lot. So to earn 3% cash back on dining, it's a win-win in my book. But do keep in mind also the Chase credit cards that allow you to transfer your rewards to an external bank. Now, what do I mean by transferring your points? So you can redeem your cash back one-to-one within Chase. And if you're already banking with Chase, you can actually just redeem straight to your bank account. Now, what a lot of credit card issuers don't do is that they don't allow you to transfer your points out to an external bank. But with Chase, they allow you to do this. So let's say if you bank with a local credit union and you get the Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card, you can actually transfer your points and redeem them as cash back to an external bank, which again is going to take around 3 to 5 business days, depending how fast they process the points. But this is where I give extra brownie points towards Chase because they allow you to do this. A lot of other credit card issuers don't allow you to do that. Not only that, there's another card that Chase offers that I consider to be a very great cashback credit card, which is going to be the Chase Freedom Flex. The Chase Freedom Flex is a 5% cashback rotating category credit card. Now, what is a rotating category? A rotating category is basically 12 months divided by 4, you get left with 3. So every 3 months, Chase picks out specific categories that you can earn up to 5% cash back at a limit. And what that limit is $1,500 per each quarter. So once you go over that $1,500 limit, all your 5% cash back purchases are going to drop back down to 1%. This card also shines because you're also going to be earning 3% cash back on dining, 3% on drugstores, and 1% on all other purchases. Now, yes, it does kind of overlap with the Chase Freedom Unlimited, but if you're barely starting out and want to maximize the 5% cash back, this is the card to go straight towards into. But again, the categories are not always going to be great. So do keep in mind that, some categories are going to be forcing you to spend money in areas that you really don't spend your money on. Also, to keep in mind too, is that with the Chase Freedom Flex, you have to go in the app to activate your each quarterly category. So what I mean by activate is that Chase does not really go in there and activate it for you. So if you do forget to do this step, you're only going to be getting 1% cash back. So do keep that in mind that each quarter you are going to have to manually activate it to earn that 5% cash back. Now, if you plan on getting both credit cards, I think it's a great duo setup. And what I mean by that is that to use the Chase Freedom Flex for only 5% rotating categories and put all other purchases on the Chase Freedom Unlimited. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you use the 5% rotating category, you're going to be earning 5% cash back. And since both cards are earning 3% on dining and 3% on drugstores, you're just better off to put all the other purchases on the Freedom Unlimited because of that additional 1.5% cash back on all other categories. Now, another credit card that I would say is a really great into the cashback space, and it's a catch-all card is what they call them, is going to be the Citi Double Cash. The Citi Double Cash is 1% when you buy and 1% when you pay. So for me, this is a great way to start learning how to pay your statement balance in full every month. So basically what I mean by that is when you pay all up front and you pay at the end, you're going to be rewarded your entire 2%. Why is that important? It's important because it gets you in the idea that to pay your statement of balance in full, that way you're not owing any interest to the bank issuer. And so there are other credit cards out there that are 2% cash back, but you get it all up front, and some people tend to let them actually do the minimum. And so it feels like you're earning a decent amount of money, but you're actually losing money because the interest is a lot higher than what you're being rewarded. So the fact that Citi is doing this, I think this is a great card, especially if you are barely beginning to. If you want one card that catches all purchases and you don't have to worry about 2 different credit cards, 3 different credit cards, and so on and so forth, If you want one card to do it all, this is a card that I'll probably say is the best out there because it is allowing you to actually transfer your cashback points into an external bank as well. So this card, I think, is hands down. If you're a very, very barely beginner, don't know anything about credit cards and want to barely start, this is going to be the card that's going to be best for you, in my opinion, because it gets you in the right mindset. It makes you learn how the points work, and you're getting your 2% cash back regardless of what it is. Now, let's say if you actually like the idea of earning a 5% rotating category credit card, just like the Chase Freedom Flex. Well, also with Citi, they offer a card called the Citi Custom Cash. With the Citi Custom Cash, you're going to be earning 5% cash back on your top eligible spend category, and that's going to be up to $500 every single month. After that, you're going to be earning 1% cash back once you cross over that $500 per month. Now, what does it mean by top eligible spend? Top eligible spend just basically means that whatever you spend the highest in is going to earn you the 5% cash back. Now, in the YouTube world, a lot of people know this card as the gas station credit card. And how to do that is basically you just go to the gas station, you only use this card for gas, you're going to be guaranteed a 5% cash back on that specific category. Now, a lot of people tend to work around this. Let's say if you don't want to use it for only gas, you can actually use it only for groceries. That's if you spend $500 or less. Because remember, once you go over that $500, you're only going to get 1% cash back. So this is also a great card to have, but again, you are going to have to be aware of how much you're spending in a specific category. And if you're trying to use this as a daily driver to collect all your payments, then I don't think this is a great card to start off with because you're not going to be knowing exactly what category you're earning 5% cash back on, and you're only going to be earning 1% on all of the purchases. So do keep in mind, like, this is probably a card that you can probably add later to your wallet. But if you know you're only going to be using this card for one category, I say go ahead and go for it. Now, let's say if you're a person that's barely starting on their credit card journey and don't have that much of a high credit score, then I'd probably recommend going with the Capital One Quicksilver. With the Quicksilver, you're going to be earning 1.5% cash back on all purchases every day, regardless of what the category is. Now, yes, this card is a little bit less compared to the Citi Double Cash, but this card holds a special place because for people who don't have that really great of a credit score and still want to earn cash back, this card is probably going to improve you a lot higher. Because the Citi Double Cash, you're required to have a little bit higher of a credit score, and with Capital One, they're kind of more lenient to people who are barely beginning. Now, you are able to use their tools to see if you're pre-selected or pre-approved on either one. So even with the Citi Double Cash or if the Capital One Quicksilver, you can actually check to see if you're pre-qualified. Obviously, if you're pre-qualified or pre-approved for the Citi Double Cash, go ahead and lean more towards that. But if you're not qualified for that, but with Capital One, they're allowing you to get the Quicksilver, obviously get the Quicksilver because to earn 1.5% cash back on everything, it's also a great card to have, especially if you're barely beginning. Now, for another card from Capital One that holds a very special place in my heart is going to be the Capital One Savor. The Capital One Savor is 3% cash back on groceries, dining, entertainment, and popular streaming services. After that, you're going to be getting 1% cash back on all other purchases. Now, I say this card holds a special place in my heart is because being a homeowner and going to the groceries pretty frequently and to get 3% unlimited on groceries, to me, it's like a great card. And the fact that there is a $0 annual fee, which I also think is a very underrated card, it is a must card to have. And the reason being is because, yes, you do have other cards that have the rotating categories or the Citi Custom Cash that allows you to select specific categories, but there are limits. Again, as I stated with the Capital One Savor, it's 3% cash back unlimited, so you don't have to worry about what quarter you're in or if you're spending over a specific limit. You're also getting a no foreign transaction fee on this card, so if you do tend to travel a lot and worry about whether you're going to be paying transaction fees, with this card as well, if you go out to dine in any other country, it's still going to be qualified as a 3% cash back, and there's no fee charged when you're making those purchases out of the country. Now, the cons of the Capital One credit cards is that you're not able to redeem cash back through an external bank account. So there are workarounds, one of them being that you can redeem a check, and then the check, after that, you just cash it to whatever bank you want, or you can redeem it through your statement. To me personally, I like to do it to where it's just send me a check. That way I know I earned that money, because in my head, I already spent my money on those cards, knowing that I was already spending that limit. So it's kind of like, in my head, it's like rewarding myself, and I'm actually earning money for using their cards. Now, it's completely up to you. I think like it's easier for me that way, but for you yourself, you may want to actually redeem it just on the statement and make your life easier. So again, that is one of the cons I don't like about Capital One, that you're not able to redeem your cash back through an external bank account. Now, as for the last card for this video is going to be the Discover It Cashback Credit Card. The Discover It Cashback Credit Card is a very, very well-known card for people who are barely getting out of college or in college. But do not make the same mistake that I did, because I was advertised the Discover It Student Chrome Card. The Discover Student Chrome card is completely different from what the actual cashback credit card is. So the cashback credit card is a 5% rotating category card that allows you to get 5% cashback on specific categories. Again, this is very similar to what the Chase Freedom Flex is, but obviously this card is going to have different categories compared to the Chase Freedom Flex. Now where this card shines, you're going to get unlimited dollar for dollar match for all cashback you earn at the end of your first year automatically. There's no limit to how much you can actually earn from this perk. So what I mean by that is that let's say you get $600 in rewards from this card. They'll then send you additional $600 to match your entire reward. This is the only card that does this, and if you guys know something, let me know in the comments below to prove me wrong. But I have yet to see any other card to actually do this perk or even match how much rewards you actually earn in an entire year. For me, if I were to start all over and I was still in college, I'd probably go ahead and get this card to start off, because to earn a match reward rate, I think that's great, especially if you're in college that, you know, kind of in a money crunch and know how to manage your credit card. Then again, this is a no-brainer credit card to earn those rewards. Now, for the cards that I mentioned throughout this entire video, do keep in mind that these cards are what I think are the best value for people who are earning cash back. Yes, I did probably leave some other cashback credit cards that are probably better, but for me, I think these are a great foundation. What I mean by that is that a lot of these cards are very valuable to anyone, but even me telling you guys this is that make sure you know the value of what you're going to be spending your money on. Again, for me, I value going to groceries, so obviously the Capital One Savers would be the best bet for me. If you're a person that does not go to groceries and want to earn a different category, then don't apply for that card. Again, like, you know yourself, a lot of people get influenced by a lot of these YouTubers that they say these are the great cards, you got to get this card. And then some of these cards have annual fees, and a lot of people don't even use all the stuff that the card's providing. So make sure you write down all the stuff that you know that you spend your money on and see what card is the best. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, the 2% cash back is only 2% cash back. But if you're not traveling and you know that you want something that's very simple, then the 2% cash back is going to be the best card for you. Now, again, I'm a person that loves to play the credit card game, so I have values for every single card that I use. Again, it is only up to you. You know the value and what you can spend your money on. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. But as always, let's try to keep things simple and see you on the next one.